Good morning. How special is that? Wow. We share something really, really extraordinary in here. What a beautiful morning, everyone. Wednesday. Here we go today. It is a big day. It's an enormous day over here, not because Bitcoin is breaking outside of this pullback over here, 30% pullback so far. We've had this trend line to watch over here, looking for when we resumed out. We had this move out back in, tested this lower break over here, now looking to resume off here on a big day. It's a big day. Why? Because we do have Michael Saylor's keynote presentation, right? American public companies teaching them how to get Bitcoin on their balance sheet within 6 weeks. That's enormous, right? 1% of all S&P companies send Bitcoin to 70,000. Do I think this changes the price projection of Bitcoin that I've set out with the work that I'm looking at? We're going to talk about that as we get going over here. The conference is starting right now. Let's see if anyone is speaking live. Here we go over here. There's no currently live sessions. I'll be checking over here to find out when the conference starts, when they actually will go live. I don't know if Michael is presenting over here at 11 a.m. Eastern time or at 10. We have to check on that. That's what I want to know. So that's what I will be tracking with you all in the end. In retrospect, it was inevitable. This is the day that it gets going over here. Elon and Michael have been talking ever since on Twitter. Ever since on Twitter when Michael Saylor said to Elon Musk, hey, you should put a portion of your reserves or all your reserves into Bitcoin. And Elon was like, is that even possible? And he's like, yep. From one rocket scientist to another, I'll tell you how it's done. Elon then flew to Hawaii. He flew to Hawaii and he met with, on his board, Oracle CEO Larry Ellison, right? What were they discussing? There had been whispers that Oracle was going to be the first, that Larry was going to be the first big tech company to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Will they both announce this week over here? Or are they waiting for another more opportune time? I don't know. We'll find out. From what I understand, it takes about 6 weeks. 6 weeks, this process that's being shown today, the playbook that's being shared with these public companies for them to get Bitcoin out on their balance sheets. You know what? As soon as it goes live, we'll be checking in. If Michael goes live, I'm going to be watching him. I'll watch him with you. It's going to be a fun session. It's going to be a real fun session. What a beautiful way to start my morning here with all of you. All right, here we go. I want to check out the Bitcoin super cycle. This is an interview from Dan Held, and he's talking on what Bitcoin did. He's talking about, the possibility that this cycle, because all public companies, because massive amount of money, institutional money is entering the space, that this time Bitcoin will not have an 80% pullback during the bear market phase, and we're just going to basically reach hyper Bitcoinization. We'll see what happens, but this is very interesting over here. I want you to hear this 30-second clip. Do pay attention to this. Pay attention to this and hear what he has to say.
This comes with risk. That's why you're earning the yield. It is not risk-free. The two other ways, borrowing against your Bitcoin, and I'm going to announce this here first on this show, because you and I were in a recent thread with Pompliano and Willy Woo, where you and I last year were making fun of Pomp for his Bitcoin percentage allocation.
Yeah.
And then Willy hopped into that old thread a couple of days ago and made fun of you and I. I'm actually I'm over 100%.
So a couple of things we heard over there. Right? So the first thing he said was, listen, back just several months ago, we were making fun of Anthony Pompliano for being 50% position Bitcoin. And listen, people wonder, is this a Bitcoin show? Jordan, are you only talking about Bitcoin? What's going on? What could we expect? Let me be clear, as I've been clear since this channel started, some of my most important work from the very beginning is making sure everyone understood the most important trade and was well positioned for Bitcoin. It's not as if I started following Bitcoin yesterday. Actually, going back into last year, I had 50% of my net worth into the trade, and everyone here knew it at the time. I put out projections of where I expected price to go next, in around what time period and around what price, right? Getting just close to it 2 or 3 months away. People like, Jordan, you still have those price predictions? Bitcoin's trading at $9,000 or $10,000. Yeah, absolutely I do. Boom, I'm there. Of course I'm focused on the most important trade that matters. Of course, I have to understand and be I have to have the perfect rhythm of Bitcoin throughout this bull market cycle here, because I have to get the exit right. Because I don't believe that we're going to see a super cycle over here in Bitcoin. I believe we're going to see what we always see in the markets. I'm going to be ready for it. When I see the top coming in, over here, as we've seen in past cycles, for me it's a 4-year cycle, I'm going to be getting out. Now, is that going to be in December? We had the first 2 cycles peaking in December. Or is it going to be at the end of September? As I've suggested, it could be as early as September the 21st. I've shown why, taking the low of the previous cycles, counting how many days to the halving, and then on the other side, go those many days less 2% the other way, and that has been the cycle peak. That would put us up to September 21st. Could it be in December like past cycles? Of course it can. We had a pullback this January. January is seasonal month for Bitcoin. We tend to have a lot of pullbacks in January. Maybe. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to see what's going on. But I do understand at this point over here during this euphoria, a lot of people, not just Dan over here, but a lot of people all of a sudden, notice Dan was late, right? Dan was late. He wasn't positioned in as he should have been at the right time for Bitcoin. Now he's like, yeah, now I'm over 100%. Okay, but that was at 19,000 when I said, okay, I'm fully positioned and more, right? And then I said, not only that, when I said my eyes are on 40,000, there we came, boom. Throughout the whole market cycle, expect at least a 30% plus pullback on Bitcoin. You've heard it from me the whole time. Notice I'm much more vocal, right, as Bitcoin is pulling back than when it's going straight up. I don't really say much when it's going straight up. When it's going down, I want to make sure that everyone has that balance about them, that everyone understands. Because if anyone thinks that is easy, seeing 30% plus of your net worth evaporate in days, then I don't listen. It's real, right? So I try to keep everyone very calm, very have that situational awareness. And now people are asking, hey, is it a good time to buy Bitcoin? Do you see it setting up? I mean, look, as soon as Bitcoin came off, 27%, I wasn't here with you this day. I remember Alan on Twitter, and I remember following the conversation, adding a couple of things. That was the only day, by the way, Monday, that I've ever not been here with you all for any reason. And then there we go. When we pull back over here 30%, I was telling everyone, not only that, I drew the circle over here, right? I had the circle over there, and I told you this is where you lean in, 30%. We have strategy number 2 on 3 ways to trade Bitcoin, a really, really important video on the Bitcoin playlist on this channel, which has helped many. I highly recommend that video. And strategy number 2 of how to trade Bitcoin in the bull market talks about scaling in as you get that 30% pullback. Maybe starting at 15%, adding more at 20, and then more either at 25, but the most between 25 and 30, getting that fully. So you shouldn't be asking now, do I get into Bitcoin? Here, people don't want to buy Bitcoin when it's off 30%. And that's the truth, but they want to buy it as it's rising. Sometimes it's safer to buy it while it's rising, though. In this case, while we're looking at the bull market phase over here, and just let me give you that perspective over here. Here we go. Just while we're in the bull market phase, we're day 267 or so into the cycle, days after the halving event. And at this point of the cycle, it's going to look like we're going vertical soon. Whether or not that happens right now or within the next 30 days, we're coming to a point where we're going to be going almost vertical towards $70,000 in a short amount of time. Yeah, it's hard, and that's why I'm here, just to gently guide you through it. And just to be clear, my focus is on Bitcoin because that's where my money is, and it's always been. And I need to make sure that I have this trade perfectly timed. I've to this moment, I feel like I've been more accurate than anyone else that I know or seen on the internet when it comes to just the normal rhythm of Bitcoin. I'm going to keep doing what I do. And if I need to focus my attention and therefore your attention towards it so strongly, there's a reason for it. So take note. That's what's going on over here. Gemini is offering, by the way, they're now offering some yield on holding their crypto with them. Whether it's something like Aave paying almost 6%, Litecoin 5%, Chainlink 4%, right? Even basic attention token 3% on Bitcoin is pretty good. The Winklevoss brothers, Gemini, I mean, I have to say I have more trust with them than many other places, right? And so someone, if they could read the fine print, let me mention that there's the risk that you could lose all of your funds. Is that getting 3% with the risk of losing Bitcoin? Does that make sense to you? Or do you trust Gemini? Do you trust I would like to know more about it. I feel better about the Winklevoss brothers. I can't wait for their net worth to overtake Mark Zuckerberg's. I trust Gemini more than I trust Facebook. I deleted Facebook, right? But I feel more comfortable here than at Bank of America, right? So, but they do say they're lending your crypto out to institutions, and institutions are really not good with money. Contrary to popular belief, institutions are not good with money and blow up all the time. So be careful, but it's an option, and it's Gemini. So I do like that. Where are we today, by the way? Where are we today, by the way? When I say that, is GameStop clearly in the capitulation phase over here, right? Was that fun? Right? I don't know anyone that was invested in it because obviously it's just gambling, but a market's a market. Right? And now you can understand where that market is. If you're looking to buy GameStop, I mean, you're doing it wrong. What about silver over here? Where are we over here on silver? Let's take a look over here. Are we just over here on the first sell-off? Right? Is this one big bear trap setting up? Did the hedge funds just play the street, infiltrating Wall Street bets, telling them, no, stay away from silver? They were already long silver. Did they want to accumulate more? Let's see what happens over here. Let's see what happens over here on silver. Over here, though, the U.S. Mint, by the way, this is silver American Eagle coins. You can see it's skyrocketing purchases over there. The Mint has a shortage where they've had to actually now only sell coins to certain dealers at a limited amount, right? The last time that occurred in 2010, right? The last time that occurred, look what happened to the price of gold and silver. Interesting, right? What's going on? You can see the American Eagle. This is gold. It's not just silver right now. We'll look at gold and silver. I just looked at the chart of silver with you, right? Where is that in the cycle? Does that look bullish or bearish to you? I mean, if you can't see a bullish looking chart at this point in the game, then I don't know what to tell you. But that chart looks really bullish to me. That chart looks really bullish to me. It looks a lot like Bitcoin. Do you remember earlier on last spring when it was actually gold leading the way and then silver following and then Bitcoin? Do you remember that? Those that are with you, because a lot of you have been following this channel for a year now. And they remember when gold was leading, doing the hard work, silver would follow, and then Bitcoin would finally follow. And I said, look, after this breaks out to the bull market, that's going to change. Doesn't this look a lot like what's happening on silver right now? Right? Look at this chart. Look over here on silver when we broke the trend line during the dollar crisis. Then finally the breakout, and then the consolidation, and now it's resuming up. I mean, it's obviously not going to do what Bitcoin did, but on a relative basis, over a longer time frame, silver in 2021, I've been clear, is probably what I believe is going to be one of the best performing assets. I talked about it going up, targeting first $50, the all-time high, and then from there going up, and we'll see. If I had to put a number on it, I would say $100, but I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I want to get back to that silver chart and show you the difference. Hold on one second. There's the liquidity crisis. Finally, silver breaks out, and looks like the first retest consolidation over here. Breakout retest. It's resuming up over the 2020 high. Gold is not yet. Gold hasn't done that yet. Gold is lagging behind silver over here. You can see that gold has not taken out the all-time high, the 2020 high. I've looked at often with you the gold to silver ratio and have said to you, since the event of QE, of $1.4 trillion QE, I'm looking for silver now to outperform continually gold over here. That's a big break over here. Look at that on the weekly chart. That's a big break of two important trend lines. That's on a weekly chart. That's one horizontal support line, and then this trend line over here. And it's a big level to be breaking down from this support over here. We're expecting it to go much lower. This looks like a good time to actually get involved over here to see if we resume down over here. It looks pretty interesting. This is another ratio that people enjoy following over here. This is the Bitcoin to the gold to Bitcoin ratio. And again, do you remember that morning? It wasn't too long ago. Price spiked into here. I said, wow, that looks like a good place. Sorry, it was over here. It was this one over here. Price was up 12% on that day. And I said, wow, people really like to buy when things up 12%. But this looks like a perfect time to lean in over here into the gold to silver ratio. I'm expecting this consolidation over here to break down. And when it breaks down, it's going to be a big, big move. If you looked at past cycles, obviously we know what Bitcoin does. And I think versus gold is probably one of the easiest trades all this year. You got to pick up on signal. It's not investment advice. Please do not follow or act on anything that I say, but do use it to consider and form your own opinion, right? Do use it as a talking point, something to consider. And you got to pay attention to tone. You got to just pay. Look, if people are looking for the easy, what could I buy right now to make money? Go buy GameStop and lose your money. Should you buy the silver miners right now, right? Look at the miners are well outperforming the physical metal. I'm not even saying the paper anymore, but the physical. But do you want to go ahead and get involved? I mean, it's like the public markets are shady. They're really, really shady. I don't like them. I'd rather own silver and it underperform with how it's looking to perform. The same way that I focus on Bitcoin, right? I don't care about Ethereum. When I say I don't care about Ethereum, I mean that's not where I have my money, right? I'm tracking it pretty good. It's finding out what's going on with Ethereum, where I expect it to go, but that's not where I have my money. I have my money on the asset that matters. So what's going on over here? Bezos, by the way, stepping down from Amazon. What that means, how you read into it. For me, it's just interesting that it happened as soon as Elon surpassed him as the world's richest man. Interesting to me that as soon as he was surpassed, instead of fighting back, he just kind of ducked out. Or maybe since he said he's going to focus on space origin, maybe he feels like, Elon's got SpaceX. If I want to be able to overtake him, I need to do it out in space. I already conquered Earth, which Amazon basically has conquered Earth. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So let me check in over here, see what's going on with Michael. I do want to. He's a really charismatic, should we say, speaker. I want to hear how amped up he gets everyone over here. He's going to get me going. 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I have all my clocks. The clock on the wall. The only phone that gives me the correct time actually is my iPhone. There we go. So we got about another 40 minutes or so. We'll see what happens. I'll check back in there. It's going to be a longer session than normal because I'm interested in tracking what's going on today. It's time to go ahead and just take a look at the charts. By the way, this is what happened when I woke up. This is exactly what happened. I first looked at the price of chart of Bitcoin, right? And then I went through everything I just shared with you, right? Then I looked at the price of the stock market. So I was at my desk probably for 20 minutes before I even looked at the stock market, right? And that was what I've been telling you now for a while. Stocks are uninteresting. It was probably about 4 weeks ago, right? That I was like, okay, now stocks are not interesting. They're just not interesting, right? And that continues. Nothing has changed over there, though. Nothing has changed over here. Interesting that we've reclaimed this area of resistance on the S&P 500. Obviously bullish. Holding this and resuming off. That's going to take us probably to a new all-time high on the S&P 500. What about on the Nasdaq? It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from all-time high. So we didn't have an insolvency event this week. I guess the week's not over. A lot could happen. By the way, you are terribly, terribly, terribly biased for a swing trader. And that's right. I am terribly biased. That's why I'm, first of all, right, invested heavily into Bitcoin. The second is I only buy off support and uptrends and sell off resistance and downtrends. That bias has been crucial to my success. I suggest you do the same. You have to get biased. Listen, this is pretty alarming over here. But, first we have our good friend Mario Draghi. Anyone that's been trading in the foreign exchange markets, right? Anyone in Europe is very familiar with Mario, whatever it takes, Draghi. He stepped down as the ECB president recently, the Central Bank of Europe, and it was Christine Lagarde who took her place, a lawyer, took our place. What's this over here? So, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought over here. Back to Mario, our good friend Mario, a central bank chairman, and now has starting to form a government in Italy to become the prime minister of Italy. We've seen this happen recently with Janet Yellen, who went from being the ex-Federal Reserve chairman and is now the U.S. Treasury Secretary. It's kind of strange that we're seeing central bank insiders being planted inside governments. Do not think it's a coincidence, right? Are central banks supposed to be independent? They are independent. Well, they are independent, absolutely. But in their independence, would they want to control governments? Of course. Of course. And Janet, by the way, has just called for a meeting of the SEC, the Fed, and I don't know what this means. The SEC and the Fed? Oh, and then the New York Fed? The Federal Reserve is the New York Fed and the CFTC this week to discuss GameStop-related market volatility. So she will, of course, recuse herself because Citadel is involved, right? Remember when President Biden asked her for her help, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, for her help with what was going on inside GameStop and the markets? She said, I'm sorry, I have a conflict of interest. They paid me $800 million for speaking. Oh, great. Great. I'm sure Mario's going to be great for Italy. A lot of people are emotionally tied to him. It's like that brand nostalgia. Back then, things were better than they were now. But Mario is the one who fleeced you. Mario and Janet, don't forget it. Don't forget it. All right, so what else are we looking at? Rich, powerful Italians. They're really good parties. 800 million. Is that right? I'm sorry. That was way off. $800,000. That was way off. $800,000. It's still enough money to buy the U.S. Treasury Secretary. It's still enough money to buy the U.S. Treasury Secretary and get her into your pocket. Interesting. I mean, that's pretty cheap, I would think, for the U.S. Treasury Secretary. What else are we looking at? The dollar. People are worried what's going on with the dollar over here. Let me take a look and see what's going on. First, starting on Brad's chart over here. We've had the breakout of the upper trend line. We've been going sideways and nowhere fast. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you, Jay. We've been going nowhere fast. And if you look over here on the weekly chart, this is the channel line that I showed you. The Monday, the first week of January, I gave you that deeper view of the DXY, what was going on. Said that I would even be looking for, as we entered this area over here, towards the 88.40 support, a pullback all the way up into the top of the trend line. We're there now. What do I expect happens? Oh, we hold here and rejected. If that does happen, let me pull up the DXY for you. Whoa. What's going on over here? Jordan notes, Jordan sketches. In my mind, it makes sense. Listen, this is that trend line over here. We've broken out outside the Winthrop line over here. The reverse head and shoulders, right? Either which way, the move back into the trend line and then resuming off, and we're targeting up in this area over here. First over here to this trend line. If this holds, this is pretty bearish for the DXY and for the dollar. What would happen? What would make me become bearish on the dollar again? It's very clear and it's very simple, right? Breaking the 90.46 support over here, obviously bearish, but we could still hold this broken resistance as support down over here. So a test into the 90 level, I would still be bullish on the dollar unless that broke and we came back under this main important trend line over here, the outer edge over there. So that's where I am on the dollar. But that's also not that exciting, and we've been all over it, and we will continue to be all over it. Gold up to what is gold doing today? Nothing. Consolidating, right? Gold's got to get first above this line over here, this trend line, this line under, let's say, minor trend line over here. And once it does, that might open up an opportunity here for an entry. Otherwise, back into this area of support. If gold comes down into this area over here, that trend line, that would be a beautiful place to pick it up. We'll see what happens. But the demand is there right now for the physical. Near-term noise, what you're seeing right now. Yeah, I don't think that you should be worried about if you could time the market, and if you're here now, you're going to be able to time the full year cycle going forward. You know that 15 months to the next halving event, that is going to be the time. 15 months to the next halving event, that's when you're going to be picking up. And you're going to find me talking about it, making sure everyone's aware of it as it's time to be talking about it. It's what I do. But over here, 15 months, dark green, 15 months to the next halving, that's the cycle low in that area. That's when we'll be accumulating. And then you'll make sure to only pay cap gains. Who knows what cap gains will be for those in the U.S. at that point anyway, though. We'll see. But, you just pay normal tax rate otherwise. Don't be afraid to pay normal tax rate. That's silly. Like, you don't want to make money because you don't want to pay taxes on it. Yeah, Winthrop, you could send me your chart. You could do it on Twitter. Just let me know in the chat that you did. There's way too many messages there to keep up with. Or you could send it here through TradingView. But you can get me that chart for sure. Not right now, but for tomorrow, I'll have it up over here. We have 538 likes over here, been going for 30 minutes. I think it's been a beautiful session. I thank you for being here with me. I'm going to be making it a long session, so we got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, as I want to see what happens with Michael Seiler over here and experience that with you. Miners, I mean, to me, it's all risky. The public markets are risky. Miners, whether it's in blockchain or on, so I heard people talking about in the future governments may actually buy groups of miners, and like there might be some form of bonds around that. Man, that's not where what my head is wrapped around. Yeah, we looked at crude oil just the other day over here, and we went through it very well. 56, 58, it's a lot of resistance up there. 56, it's a lot of resistance. This is probably not where you want to be getting involved. Clear above that, clear above 50, And I could say it's probably not where you want to be getting involved, because this is exactly as we broke out of this channel over here. I said, look, I'm targeting right here next 54, 61, and then above that, I'm targeting up into 56.50, and then over here into 59. So as we're there now, I have the right to be like, it's not interesting. This is not where we're going to be involved. I know a lot of people, they're attracted to things that are rising very high, and as they rise very high, right? But this was an uptrend when I attacked it, right? We have over here the March low, Fed acted, strong uptrend on WTI ever since it went to zero negative. By the way, I didn't know once it went below 1450, I abandoned the trade. I had no idea it was going to go to zero. It was an anomaly. Anomaly happens in the markets all the time, and then I backed way off of it because I don't trade something that's broken like that, right? Bitcoin during the dollar liquidity event, that was different. Fed increased their balance sheet, $4.1 trillion. Different, right? This I didn't want to get involved. And by the way, and everyone at that point had put every single available capital to work that they could in whatever they did. I chose Bitcoin, of course, adding to my positions in the low $4,000 and high $4,000 area over here. But as we came up into this area right over here, I said, listen, everyone, oil's just now going to be ranging, going sideways, stay away. And that happened for several months, keeping everyone out of this trade. You don't understand. People take for granted what is shared here and how it's shared. And some people, not obviously, you saw this morning, what a warm, beautiful feeling. So many people, the core of the community, we're all here. But there are new people joining each and every day. I want the opportunity for anyone who wants to be taken on the journey to come with us. Many will get left behind. It's just the way it is. But over here in oil, as we went into this channel over here, there were 3 trades I pointed out, right? I guess you could call them, some small swing trades. Did I get lucky because some hurricanes happened? I don't know. I was just following price. I don't really get involved in noise, right? And weather and things like that. And then over here, once we broke out of this channel, that's when I talked about, all right, it looks like $45 is next. And then from there, I'll be targeting 49 and then higher. We kept it's not interesting though. And that's where we're at. So what else? No, I have no knowledge of that. Again, I don't follow weather. Yeah, it could. So September is when we're going to begin. Let me show you over here and make this really easy and beautiful for you, for myself. What I share with you is what I share with and for myself to help me be able to navigate these markets the way that we do over here together. We're going to see, just as we saw this pullback, if you look at the second cycle over here, this area, how many days after the halving, there was this pullback. It happened over here as well. Same area. It happened sooner, right? Don't forget the first cycle peaked sooner because the move was more vertical. The move was more vertical, and therefore it peaked sooner. This is day 350 compared to day 500 on the second cycle. Now, this current cycle that we're in, right over here, we're not peaking as vertical as we did in the first cycle. We're not peaking. This is the double wave. Is it possible that this could have occurred this cycle if instead of going to 40,000, we went up to 70,000 and or 100,000? Yes. If that would have happened, I would have said, look, our drawdown is going to be bigger than 30%. That didn't happen. Man, do you understand the nuggets, the gems? What is shared here is beautiful. Thank you for making it happen, because each and every one of you. Thank you to all the moderators, by the way. Thank you for letting me know. Hey, listen, Jordan, fix that sound, do that. It really helps just make everything run more smoothly and just a better experience. And I'm grateful for it. Thank you for each and every one of you who copied the share button, the share link, who smashed the like button. Over here, you can see that this current cycle is not peaking as fast as the first cycle, but it is higher than the second cycle. That's a sign that we should have a cycle that ends sooner than the last cycle and not as long as the first. So that puts us looking 350 days to 500 days for that top. Whether or not it's September, October, November, or December, we'll find out. Right? It's September. That's when it's time to get ready. get ready to jump, get, exit seats, know the procedure, know what cord you have to pull and when and why, and we're just ready, and we'll be doing it together. We'll figure it out. That's a big window, though, right? September, October, November, December. It's a big window, but we're going to do our best. So, thank you so much. You have no idea how much it helps. Grateful for when you do smash that like button. Where are we today? What's going on? We have about another 23 minutes to Michael or the conference gets going. I don't know if Michael will there be speaking yet. I want to look across the markets at some other stuff, including what's going on with some of the Bitcoin crosses. We'll start over there. The second thing I looked at after the equity markets, I looked at the dollar. I just saw that it was unchanged, right? I had this chart in my mind from last night. I had this, or this morning, I had this chart in my mind. I know what's going on with the dollar. So that's really neither here nor there. So then I went over and I looked at the crosses of Bitcoin. It was in that order, and it took that long. That's what's important to me. That's where my focus is, right? Am I focused on commodities, right? Am I focused on industrial metals? No, not right now. When things change and that we could put our attention back, we need to be focused on what we need to be focused on. Let's go over here. Let me look at Ethereum, Bitcoin. And Ethereum, Bitcoin, after the consolidation over here, it was on Ethereum. It wasn't on Ethereum, Bitcoin. Is that correct? It was on Bitcoin that I put out that little accumulation box over here. I didn't do it on Ethereum, Bitcoin. I just put the line over here for when it breaks out, breakout, right? Pull back, keeps going. It looks beautiful. What else could we say? It looks beautiful over there. Is it possible if Bitcoin runs, by the way, if Bitcoin runs here, takes out this swing high at 38,000, and then goes into new all-time highs, and we go into straight price discovery, Ethereum's going to be there with it, I think. Whether Ethereum's outperforming, which probably, or slightly lagging, they're pretty much going to be in lockstep, I think. And that's if Bitcoin runs hard. So I don't think Ethereum, Bitcoin is going to suffer too much over here. And technically, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. What about the rest? Let's see. I have no idea. AVA Bitcoin breaking out now outside of that trend line, right? Bitcoin. This is when I had some type of pullback circle over here to accumulate. People wanted to buy it when it was up here, right? People are always chasing that momentum. Look for the pullback. Look for the pullback. Set your trend line and wait for it to break above. On crypto, things break out. Unlike in other markets, whether it's the currency markets, the best markets to ever trade, to understand the markets, to learn how to trade the markets, is by far the foreign exchange markets, and you should be trading them. When you look at me right now and I'm not focused on what's going on in the currency markets, that's because they're all consolidating. They're not doing anything. Do you see the consolidation over here? Things take a lot longer to play out here in FX than they do on crypto. Things that take weeks and or months to play out on the foreign exchange markets, happen much more rapidly on the crypto markets, which means that you should have the better understanding of the markets before you jump into something more fast moving. But we're just consolidating right now. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, US dollar, both consolidating. This is interesting into that line of that trend line over here and now looking to hold. Very, very interesting over here. Australian dollar, US dollar. People right now, by the way, I just closed my DXY chart that I had open for you, where I was showing you that move back into the trend line. A lot of people right now, looks like they're probably becoming bullish on the dollar, but for me, we're just into resistance on the DXY. Here on the Australian dollar, US dollar, into support. Where's the entry, though? Where is the entry if you're interested in trading this? That's the question I'm going to be looking at right now. To do that, I'm going to pull up the trend line. Look, right here, right now, if you're going to go for it, this is actually the place to go for it as you've pulled back into the trend line. Do you take the first move into the line of support, right? And so by the way, it's really helpful to look at trend lines the way you look at horizontal support. This is a line that everyone's familiar with. It's horizontal, so it makes it easy to understand. As price comes into it, it's a level that you're looking for it to hold. Just kind of tilt up this horizontal support line. Maybe if I make this green, it'll help you. Let me go ahead and just turn this green right now. And then there we go. So you can see that means support. right? You're into the support. It doesn't matter that it's hard, that's not horizontal. You're into the support. You're resuming off of it. Is that the entry you want? Are you waiting to see if you have another down move and then maybe on the third or fourth move up get into the trade? For me, it's the same. For me, it's the same thing, whether because you have the same stop loss, whether you get into that first, second, third, or fourth push up. It's all the same stop loss. If it's going to work out, I want to be involved right away because sometimes these things spike up from here, right? And I don't want to miss the first touch. I'm the first touch type of person, move into support or resistance. But here it is. Your risk is limited. By the way, you have like a 2.5 to 1 risk ratio. Don't enter a trade just because of risk ratio. Enter a trade, be biased. In uptrends, buy off support. This is an uptrend. We're into some support, right? Is it a good high probability trade? Yeah, it's a good high probability trade. That's what you want to be doing. But the thing is, and what happens as people get into these trades, this is the biggest mistake that most people make. And this is the most important thing. If you're listening right now, and if you're here, pay attention to what I'm saying the most right now. People get into this beautiful trade right over here because your risk is capped over here, right? What are you targeting over here? Well, you're targeting over here, this bit of resistance, the swing high over there, right? So do you take profit as price moves, roughly the same distance? A lot of people start taking profit once prices move as far as their stop loss is. So into that little bit of supply over here, are you taking a portion of your trade-off? How much of your trade-off are you taking? Are you taking the full trade-off? You'll never be a profitable trader. Risking 1-to-1, you'll never be a profitable trader. The only way to actually be a profitable trader is to push your winners. You can't push your winners unless you give them the room to actually be pushed. It's like if you ever held on to a losing trade too long and it really hurt. That little trade in the beginning had a stop loss and it wasn't too far away, and you moved it and you moved it and or removed it, and then it became a big problem. You got to do that the other way. And you can't do it the other way if you're always cutting your winners shorts. What about over here if you are able to test into this area over here? Do you take some profit and how much? Yes, you take some profit. You've pushed this a couple of levels. The first bit of resistance was over here. This was the first bit of resistance where, about 1-to-1 right above there. That you take a little bit of profit? No, you move your stop loss to break even. You move your stop loss to break even, and you have to be so comfortable with taking a portion of trades at break even though they were into small profit. And a lot of people don't like to do that. Why don't they like to do that? Because they're not used to being in profit. They want to take it, but you'll never be a profitable trader. Everyone following the course is able to get into good trades now. No question about it. You need to work on how they're being managed, how they're being pushed, right? So what's next? Into this area over here, how much are you taking off? How much of your trades are you taking off a 30 a trade? Of course. That's fantastic, right? At least a quarter, a third in that area, 40%, whatever you feel the most comfortable with, but you're leaving the greater portion the possibility to run and to move into profit. That's how you do it. Thank you for the prediction on Bitcoin, the adoption we're going to see by public companies. People used to ask, how is it possible Bitcoin is going to get to your price prediction originally when I was wrong and said 160,000, 140,000 mission accomplished. How is that even possible? Bitcoin was trading at what? $6,000, $7,000. People didn't understand, and I was like, just wait. You'll see. We're going to have institutions. Institutions have a lot more money, right? You're going to see the price relative to past cycles because there's a new wave of money coming in, and that money that is much greater each time. Okay, so now all of a sudden it's happening, it's unfolding. Now people see it, and they're like, okay, but now we're not going down. Like, we're going to have a super cycle. And Dan has been, Dan. I like listening to Dan. I like what he has to share. That's why I was even following this video over here. And are we eventually going to have a Bitcoin super cycle? Will it be after Bitcoin's market cap has surpassed that of gold and is maybe taking a bigger role in the overall financial system, becoming not a multi-trillion-dollar asset? Will it be after it becomes a $10 trillion asset? And when it becomes a $10 trillion asset, will the governments attack? will the powers that be attack? And what will happen to Bitcoin? And how will the price react? You know, I don't know. What I do know is what's going on right here in front of me. Got a really good feel on it, and I'm going to continue to navigate. I will be exiting. Many people will not be happy with me when I exit Bitcoin. They're going to tell me I exited too soon. They're going to tell me I exited too late. They're going to tell me I shouldn't have exited. They're going to tell me I caused it to crash. I don't care. I'm telling you way ahead of time. I'm telling you way ahead of time. So, where are we at? We got MicroStrategy presenting today. Gene, four of the people in this group that I knew of a few days ago are attending this conference. Super, super excited. We're all going to be attending, watching what's going on, and listening. But the amount of workshops they have is absolutely phenomenal. It was inevitable, right? When does Elon, the showman, decide that he's going to announce, and how? Will it be today at the event? I don't know. I think Elon is kind of. We'll see. We'll see. There's also talk of what else is going on? Who else were they talking about? Was possibly looking what public company to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet? I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see the news that this conference brings. It's going to be big. It's a lot bigger than some hedge funds, by the way, trying to short Bitcoin. It's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger than some Chinese miners working with hedge funds to try to short Bitcoin. That's all noise. That's meaningless. The miners have already learned they can't control Bitcoin. We'll see. So let's keep going. I do want to look at the Euro US dollar because I haven't. Oh, look at that. You see, this is what we were tracking together. I know it, right? The breakdown, the retest, resuming off there now, right? But are we into some? I'm worried that the DXY is coming into resistance. A lot of people are getting comfortable in their shorts on the Euro US dollar. I'm looking at that trend, that channel, right? When price was down here, I was like, wait, watch what happens up here. Now we're up here, so I feel like I can talk about it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So on the Euro US dollar, are we seeing something that I'm not aware of? Let me go to the 3-day to a higher time frame. Let me zoom out over here. I don't see anything, right? I don't really have any horizontal resistance up to 1.25. I don't 1.25. Do I have any support down over here? Let's see. Prices right now, you can see the dotted line right there, that price. Is it in an area of support? Yeah, it's in an area of support. There's a touch over here as resistance. Here it is as support. It touched in this area. It's an area over here. I would be cautious. I would be very cautious about taking any type of trade right here, right now, on the Euro US dollar. You know, as we see, as we see Mario and Yellen enter these two governments over there. But it's not attractive anymore. It was attractive. It's just not at this moment. Either is the dollar. The dollar is not doing anything. You could kick it with a stick. It's just consolidating over here. Let's see. Let's see if it becomes exciting. Maybe back below this trend line, or maybe a rejection off of here. These are in a downtrend. I sell resistance in a downtrend. We haven't had any technical reversals here that would have me signaling that I would like to be picking up dollars. So we'll see. No, definitely not. So as a matter of fact, and listen, people aren't going to like me again, but whatever. When we get to the point of the end of this Bitcoin cycle over here, as I'm exiting Bitcoin, a speculative portion of my funds will go towards trading Bitcoin versus all pairs and putting those into Bitcoin, not into the alts. I will be taking trades as I exit the dollars into Bitcoin versus altcoins because I think Bitcoin is going to destroy them on the bear market. I think Bitcoin, and I think that's one of the easiest, quote unquote, easiest, the best trades that there will be, right? So that's something that I'll probably be leaning into is Bitcoin trades versus the US dollar. Gemini, by the way, at that point, getting into a stable coin, how much are they paying? Are they paying 8.6%? What are they paying on a stable coin? Are they paying on the Gemini dollar? I don't see anything. That's interesting. Ah, that's interesting. That's too bad it's not an option. If they were paying on a stable coin like BlockFi does, and BlockFi will be something that I would be interested in holding stable coin as I hold Bitcoin there now. But holding stable coin in BlockFi, yeah, paying the tax, whatever the tax is, and then collecting that interest until I accumulate again in the bear market. I like to always spread it out though. If there was any type of stable coin, I don't see it. There's no stable coin, so that's not really an option I would be interested in. I would not exit into any type of altcoin at all at any time during the bull market peak. Yeah, Rich, right? What? That's a question I wonder. What will BlockFi be paying during the bear market? So I'm interested to know. That's pretty good. If they're paying 68%, that's pretty good. There's a risk involved. I would like to know more about that risk. I would like to know. Listen, they're lending out your collateral, who they're lending it out to, and what are the risks those people are taking. Could there ever be a black swan event? There you go. That's something I need to look into. I've listened to Omar from Crypto News in the past many times. Omar's always been into the die. Is it DAO or die? I'm sorry, and everything be built on top of Ethereum. I would have to look into it to understand it. I don't. Yeah, absolutely. There's probably a strong portion, Martin. Probably a strong portion into Pax Gold because I think the gold market, the bull market, and the precious metal markets is just getting going, and it's got a while to go. I think it's going to last longer than the Bitcoin bull market. So for sure, as I'm entering or exiting the Bitcoin, Pax Gold will definitely have will play a role in that. Or obviously, or probably even more so. Probably even more so. It'll be in physical gold, in a vault somewhere, and we'll talk about all the different options. Whether it's Singapore, whether it's Utah, whether it's up in Canada, where what are good jurisdictions to store gold. Whether it's in the British Virgin Islands or the Cayman Islands or wherever it is, we'll talk about it. Silvergate Capital, we have it over here. They are BlockFi banned. Gene, what's BlockFi banned? Opinions on Litecoin? I mean, it's not Bitcoin. That's really the only opinion I could give on Litecoin. Us Chainlink over here. It's not Bitcoin. I have some friends from New York who their investment options are limited. So during the bear market, Litecoin is an investment they make, but it's not Bitcoin. That's and by the way, I'm super bullish on all altcoins. I obviously believe altcoins outperform Bitcoin during this bull market phase. I've been very clear about that altcoins will outperform Bitcoin during this bull market phase over here, and that's fine. But that's why Bitcoin Light Leverage is the best trade over here. It's all about Bitcoin, but yeah, whether or not it's Litecoin even outperforming Bitcoin, it's all possible. It's all possible, but I don't know why you'd want to be focused there. Yeah, BlockFi is a new bank. Oh, all right. Oh, really? Oh, I do need to look into Silvergate. Thank you, Gene. For me, BlockFi is the bank of the future, right? It's for me. That's exactly how I use it and what it is, right? If I want, they have their Visa credit card soon, paying rewards, cash back, Bitcoin back. I'll take it in stablecoin if it's an option, easier on taxes. But either which way, yeah, BlockFi is a bank, and I actually trust them more than my own bank or traditional bank. Silvergate, I need to look into it, have that option as well. That's beautiful. Boom, boom. Gemini lending disclosure doc is worth a read. Your coins can leave Gemini, not insured, and have no liability. Not sure if that was mentioned. Yeah, we did take a look clearly at the risks and talking about that your coins are being lent out to institutions. We don't know what they're doing with them, what type of risk they're taking on, and institutions are not really, or hedge funds are not really good at taking on risk, we should say. I would like to know more about it, but at the end of the day, I have that trust in the Winklevoss brothers and Gemini, And I lend out the same thing on BlockFi. That's happening, right? And there's risk involved. There is risk involved, and it's real. And just once again, just to highlight, make sure you understand your risks. Yep, Square too. Square's another bank of the future, no question about it. I don't use them myself. I have some trust issues with Jack, right? But he's been Bitcoin only. He's been Bitcoin only, so we'll see. But I feel like I saw that tweet he put out. He put out a tweet and it was just 4 letters or 4 characters, and it was 2030. And he was alluding to the Great Reset, and I'm just not. I'm bored with not owning property, so I can't get on board with that. And if someone's bringing that type of friction, then yeah, there's friction there. So I don't trust Jack. He's supposed to speak at the 2021 Bitcoin conference in Los Angeles. I don't know. Just for that reason alone, it is what it is. Does BlockFi remind me of BitConnect? No, absolutely not. Not even close. BlockFi is a company that has, first of all, Morgan Creek Capital, and then they've gone through 3 rounds. It reminds me of a venture capital play, and that's what it is. It's a venture capital play. They're making a ton of money in private equity, they've had 3 rounds of financing, right? Last round of 50 million. They're doing it different. They're actually holding on and collecting collateral, right? They're not an exchange that's just the middleman. They're collecting people's Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin, right? And that's the future. And they're ahead of the game. I think it's going to be an enormous company. It already is a big company. The Winklevoss brothers were backing it. I thought, and I've seen on the website that Fidelity was one of the original funders of this project. Fidelity, what are they running? 7, 8, $10 trillion. Fidelity. I feel really comfortable about BlockFi and think they run a really good business. Yeah, there's in the Conquering the Markets training session last Thursday, we did a whole session on Bitcoin lightly leveraged. And if you want to understand it, it's on the recommended playlist inside the course. That's exactly what you want to watch. If you're not, to be honest, the course costs next to nothing. It's absolutely invaluable research. If you're watching this video right now, there's no way that you should not be taking the course, involved with the community deeper, and really just absorbing everything I share. But that's up to you. But you can find that. Ethereum going into this breakout, by the way, was leading Bitcoin, right? Ethereum was testing the resistance over here. It was banging against that door. It was actually making higher lows. Bitcoin was doing actually the opposite. Bitcoin over here was just, it's testing why Ethereum's testing that last all-time high top. Bitcoin was lagging behind it. It continues to lag behind it. We continue to look for Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin during this stage of the bull market, as it did in 2020, right? But nevertheless, if Bitcoin's going to run here and we run into a sharp move, full out price discovery, right? I'm looking for that, and I believe these next let's call it 60 to 100 days could see a really sharp move in Bitcoin. It's going to look vertical to us. So I think that we see 70,000 by the end of the first quarter of 2021. By the end of March, we should be seeing 70,000 on Bitcoin. In you know, that's pretty significant. Really, that's an interesting fit. That's an interesting fit. Would Jack? Oh, Jack tweeted to Jack. That's right. That's an interesting fit. If Square were to fire Strike Global, Jack Mahler, send Bitcoin anywhere with no fees in the world in an instant, right? That would make sense for Square, and we'll see. But would Jack do that? Jack Mahler do that? I don't no idea. What did they want? They wanted Mark to sell out, right? Of Facebook. What was what was the $1 billion offer Yahoo made? Was it for YouTube? Yeah, I remember when Yahoo bid $1 billion for YouTube and they turned it down. I don't know how much Google got it for, but I assume it was a lot more. 10 a.m. Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on over here. Turn over to MicroStrategy. Let's see if this event is kicking off. No, I don't think so. The question is, are we seeing, right? I don't see any live. Let me check this out with you 1 second. I see the consolidation happening in FX as normal. We've had big moves in 2020. Going into 2020, what are we looking at over here? Yeah, there should be a live now button. I don't see it. Before we get going over there, let me figure this out over here. I need to focus 1 second. We should be getting started over here. These are all good questions. I can't answer them right this second because I need to figure out what's going on. But I think FX is going through right now a normal consolidation period. I don't think it has anything to do with Bitcoin. Do I think the CME futures will affect the price of Ethereum? No, I don't. If anything, I think it'll make Ethereum go up. It's good. I know that everyone has in the back of their mind, it was as the CME futures launched, the price of Bitcoin hit its peak in December. But that was just timing, right? That was just timing. It was time for Bitcoin to peak. That was coincidence. That was coincidence trying to take credit. Can you imagine the CME, the almost irrelevant CME, trying to take credit for topping Bitcoin? But no, I don't think that's going to be an issue over there. I don't know what's going on. I can't access the event live, right? So that's a bummer. Go to the sessions tab. There we go. Let me come back. Thanks for walking me through this. There's the sessions. All right, so I don't see anything that populates. Oh, there we go. All right. Looking for the keynote. So what are we looking for? Are we looking for public sector? You guys are going to have to, there we go, keynote. Clear. It's their site, I'm telling you. MicroStrategy let me down. Let me try this. No, the keynote should be starting right now. Should be starting right now. Here we go. Let's see what happens. I thought it was going to be live streamed. Let's see what happens. This is not even the event. Well, I'm trying to get it, Martine. I'm trying to get it. What wallet would I use? Listen, I wouldn't use Coinbase. I use Coinbase. But I wouldn't use them. I don't use them. I feel comfortable with Gemini, and I feel very comfortable with BlockFi. Yeah, those are good ones. BlockFi is my favorite. BlockFi is my favorite. So I don't see what's going on over here. I think it's their site. Well, I think they're going to figure it out, and I'm just hanging out a while longer anyway. I'm in no rush to get off here. I want to see what happens. We'll give it a few minutes. We'll check back in. Right, their site is swamped. Right, I have a bad connection. I would pull up a speed test, but you don't need to know anything. Yeah, no, I don't. It's not my connection, but thank you, my friend. Thanks for looking out. Thanks for that great contribution to the community. Cheers, brother. Let me have a sip of my blue bottle over here to that. I used Interactive Brokers. It was the first broker I ever used. I used to trade the E-mini futures connected to Sierra charts because Interactive Brokers didn't even have charts back then when I first started using them. They're a fantastic broker. Yeah. So lots of people want to watch that. If it comes up, could you all alert me in the comments so I could go back to it and pull it in? There were some other good comments in there. I didn't see them either which way. But the important one was, or one of the important ones were, that is FX kind of like falling out of favor right now because of the crypto markets? No, not at all. Not even close. What you're seeing happening in the FF markets is just, we've had huge moves in 2020 2019, I told everyone, listen, for the last few years, the moves in FX, not that they haven't been easy, they were easy to trade when the moves, going into 2020 were very small and they were very forgiving. You can make a lot of mistakes and get away with them. It was true. And then I said, listen, in 2020, sooner or later, we're going to see volatility pick up. And that looked like it started happening around November and December of 2019. And then 2020 happened. And it was a big year. Is it normal for the markets to settle in and consolidate after such big moves? Of course. That's the rhythm and the pattern of the market. It just so happens that we're not in the bear market phase of crypto. We're in the bull market phase, and that's why we're seeing some explosive moves over there. But it's not affecting FX. Keynote is live. Let's do it. At least Michael's not on yet. I don't know why I can't get the volume going. Maybe it is my connection with the streaming. I don't know what's going on. But I'm gonna give it another couple of minutes. I want to be able to see if I could get that. You know, is it the connection? I don't think so. I'll take you a screenshot right now and show you without showing you any information. No, you got to just register to watch the conference. Yeah, I don't know. I'm showing right now a 220, 230, a download of 225 Mbps. I don't think it's the connection. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I don't think it's the connection over here at all. But it is over here. But they got a little time to figure it out. They have about 20 minutes before I think Michael actually goes on to give his keynote. So we got a little bit of time for them to figure it out. I'm going to wait to see if I can get it up by then. And if not, then we'll just, that's it. But let's see what happens. They got bad tech. They're a tech company, by the way. MicroStrategy is a tech company, but I'm supportive of everything they're doing. Could just stop the clicking. Yeah. Thanks for that. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, Sunshine. Thank you for bringing such light and sunshine over here. So what else are we looking at? There's nothing wrong with their tech. Rich, are you watching it live? Greg, Gene, is anyone just watching it live that I'm not? I would like to know if anyone else beside myself is able to make the connection. Yeah, this is a big deal. I wanted to get into this, Keith. I will get into it in the afternoon update about Grayscale, as well as some other on-chain metrics that have really shown over here that it was time to step back in and buy. Now, we were doing that from price alone, right? This is what we do. This is what we do well. And that's what we were watching, was price alone over here. And masterfully maneuvering it, no question about it. The group as a whole also. However, you could see some on-chain metrics that showed that this was happening. That's something that we're going to just learn more about, make sure we're aware of it. And that's a really good heads up right here that this is also happening right now. We'll look at past times Grayscale lockups have ended and how Bitcoin moved with that as well. So the timing across the board is there. The timing across the board is really there. Let's see. Come on, MicroStrategy. We got another 18 minutes to he's scheduled to get on. That's interesting. I guess they're just overloaded. Yeah, the lightly leverage is not so much how much leverage to trade, but how to trade it. Whether or not you were trading with something like 3x or you were trading with something like 20x, it's still the same of how to manage that trade. It's absolute gold, right? The screen is blocked. Look, it's just they're having trouble. That's all it is. Yeah, I think this is what it is, and I think they're gonna get it figured out. I think they're going to get figured out. I have hope that within the next 15 minutes, we're able to get on there and watch. Oh boy, not good for MicroStrategy itself. But guess what? They bought Bitcoin. They could kind of get away with making some errors on their tech like this. They got it covered, and their stock price is going to appreciate accordingly. That's good. Thanks, Jay, for letting me know that. Look, oh, you can't even get registered. It wasn't easy for me to get registered either. It's true. It took me a couple of devices to get it to work. That should have been that should have been the whole signal, right? That this was going to be a problem today. But whatever. Either which way, we're all going to get to see it. We're all going to get to see a replay of it. It's going to be out, and whether or not I would have loved to have watched it with you all together. So I hope that we get to do that. We have about another 15 minutes to figure it out. If they do, we'll stay on and watch it. If not, at that point, I'll say, guess what, everyone? Have a beautiful day, and thank you so much. Yeah, but this is a really good question or insight also, right? You can't see how this could be good for Bitcoin. Here's the thing is that Bitcoin doesn't need anyone. It doesn't need Elon, the world's richest man. Elon needs Bitcoin. And that's the world's richest man understanding that he needs Bitcoin. Think about that. Ponder on that. That's really just the way it is. And whether or not Elon decides to put any money of Tesla into Bitcoin or not, it doesn't even matter. Bitcoin's going to go on to do what it's going to do during this bull market cycle. Because whether or not Elon gets it, right? Because wealth does not equal intelligence. Am I saying anything about Elon's intelligence? Of course not. Did it sound like that to you? Right? But either which way, Bitcoin does not need anyone, and Bitcoin certainly doesn't need the MicroStrategy tech conference or tech conference, the conference to go well. It really doesn't. These companies need Bitcoin. They're going to be buying Bitcoin. They're being shown how to buy Bitcoin through these workshops, through these roadmaps, giving them a plan that within 6 weeks they should be able to have made their investors aware what their intentions are, filed the proper paperwork, gone through the meetings that need to go through in the boardroom. They'll have gone through all the steps a public company needs to achieve, including where they need to transfer funds to, who they're buying it from. You got several different high-end options for these companies to consider that are all making presentations themselves, right? That are all making presentations themselves. There is for sure, whether or not the keynote goes well, and it's going to go well because it's being taped. It doesn't need to be live streamed. It's happening in real life, and it's going to be epic. Yeah, well, not a sponsor. They're an investor. The Winklevoss brothers are not they're an investor into the company, right? So I would have to say at this point, it's going to have to be like, we're going to have to get lucky if it happens. Wow, that signal right there, by the way, Paul. That signal right there. Miners holding on, right, as they should this point in the cycle, right? Right? Are they turning themselves into proc ETF funds? Interesting, but I prefer the underlining. I prefer Bitcoin. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure. But the companies, by the way, right? Are the people? I don't know. It's a good question, by the way. How many people are actually at that conference? How many? Whether or not most people are attending remote or not, or most people. And when I say people, I don't mean like. I mean the big players, the public companies, the decision makers at these public companies who would be deciding whether or not they want to put, the sum of like 5 million or 50 million, 100 million, or $1 billion onto their balance sheet. Are they there personally to speak with these people face to face, or are they doing it remotely themselves? I don't know about that. Oh, is it? I could pull it up on a Chrome browser. Let me do that as we're waiting. But if anyone has it working, and if it's only on a Chrome browser, I'll just pull up the Chrome browser and we'll do it that way. But let me go ahead and check that out. Let me see if it works for me. But I saw Greg saying that it's not working for him on Chrome. Yeah, I stopped using Chrome because, man, do you trust Google? Alphabet record earnings yesterday. Do you trust Google? So for me, that's a big no. Yeah, I'll be sending an email out about that definitely today. Tomorrow's training session is going to be a good one. Today's live stream was a good one. We got 1,000 likes. That's always nice to see. Thank you, everyone, for really going out of your way to support this channel and my work. Thank you this morning, by the way, just to like, you guys really are just something special. And it's really meaningful to me. Yeah, you gotta, that's a good thing about BlockFi as well. By the way, their security, I really like BlockFi in the fact that you can whitelist an address, meaning it's impossible to withdraw anything until you add a new address. And then it takes 7 days before you can withdraw to that address. They also do, kind of neat, for every type of withdrawal, facial recognition, right? You're KYC'd anyway. You might as well be protected. It's kind of nice. I like the security. They go, is it better than Coinbase? Yeah, Coinbase, someone could just, SIM swap you and then get your Bitcoin. I don't like Coinbase, right? Could that happen on Gemini? Could you get SIM swapped? Be careful. Operational security, if you're gonna invest in Bitcoin, is absolutely essential. Grayscale, are a lot of people invested in GPTC, right? Because of the security of having the plated Bitcoin, but not having to deal with your own private keys. Yeah, some people take that risk. A lot of people take that risk. I take that risk. So it is. Security is weighing how you'd be risking. You have to be very careful about it. That's right too. I personally also use DuckDuckGo. I won't use Google search. So yeah, I'm not seeing much of a difference at all on the Chrome browser. It's not Safari. It's not Brave. It's not Chrome. It's their servers. It is what it is. Interesting. So on Verizon, you can set a PIN. This is good operational security. This is good operational security right here. You could set up a PIN, and that way, the only way someone could get your SIM card is knowing that PIN. Thank you, Greg. Cold wallets. I mean, listen. If you're looking into cold wallets, I think what you should look in is into multi-sig. You should have need multiple keys in order to access your Bitcoin. Ideally, if you're smart like myself, those keys are located in different geographic locations, right? You got to be smart about what you do and why, right? So yeah, but at multi-sig, Casa is a really good way to go about that. Yeah, beautiful, Shane. Beautiful. AT&T now also has a pin. I'm in Mexico. I have no idea about these things. Yeah, not where I'm from. Maybe where you live they are. Not where I live. No. Bitcoin Vault. I've heard a lot about them. Not familiar with them. There you go. Never stop learning, Gene. Great comment. Love it. Absolutely the truth over there. So I don't think we're getting on It's not looking good. That's okay. I know that we're going to get to see some clips of that speech later on. I'm looking forward to it. But either which way, I think that this session for me provided a lot more value. That's for sure. Everyone, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to schedule tomorrow's CTM live session. Make sure we prepare for that. And I just want to wish you a beautiful, beautiful day. Thanks for spending this time with me. Thanks for making this community what it is. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. Why am I not streaming? Could you connect? Mark, are you able to connect to the conference? Yeah, I don't think anyone is able to connect. Their servers are overloaded right now, and no big deal. It is what it is. And that's it. Let's put out some music. If it gets going, by the way, if it comes back online or it gets online, I'll jump on. If I'm here, I'll jump on. So, if you're still here, as far as would I learn any of the Forex basics, there are some references inside the course about material you could check out if you're not familiar with terminology such as pips. But everything else is taught, everything you need to know is taught in the course. For sure, that's the resource you want to start with and end with, and then you can learn everything else in between. Yeah, Coinbase is doing some facial recognition now. That's good. So I don't have it. I don't have it. Thank you for that, Peter. Thank you for that. Ethereum, new all-time highs into price discovery. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then that's it, man. That's right. Winthrop, iron sharpens iron. There's no question about it. Thank you, everyone, for making me a better person. I am truly, 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 truly thankful and grateful for that. Lots of videos on Forex. Thank you so much. So I couldn't get it. I thought it would happen. It's not happening, and that's what it is. Someone said that they did my agenda. I can't even click on my agenda. So that's it. I don't know if it's my streaming software. I don't know if it's MicroStrategy. Either which way, have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon.